You're just putting your stuff together and sharing it. And then, there are mostly two reasons why you put a portfolio together. It's either you just want to show people your work, or you want to show prospective employers your work, or if it's just, the general public. For example, you want to put your work up on the internet just to share. And, I think people have communities like that where they share stuff. There are places where you can share your work. There are places where you can, sit with other designers and or whatever you're into and share your work. There's all of that. And in making a document, yeah, there are many tools that you can use, many design tools that you can use. Um, like I said in the beginning, I assume everybody has computer knowledge. So if you have a computer, you have access to a computer. There are tools that you can use. There are free tools. Most of them are paid these days because you know how everything is. So even the ones that are free, they won't give you full access. You need to pay to get more access. But that's not a problem. It doesn't stop you or hinder you in any way. So, one of the first tools that I would recommend is Figma. Everybody's familiar with Figma. It's a free, to an extent, online software that you can use to design, anything digital. UI designers use it to design um, apps, websites, anything that is a program on any software. It could be the software that's in an ATM machine, for example, now, because sometimes people always think that um, UI is only website and app, you know. So if you design any software that's UI design, that can be in your portfolio. If you make video graphics, you can put that in your portfolio. That's motion graphics. If you make any kind of thing that you design, so now you want to know what type of portfolio you're trying to make. Because one thing you want to do is just because it's creative work doesn't mean you should just throw all of them in a document and I'm showing my work. No, you have to organize your work. And one way to do that, or the best and the only way to do that, is actually organize your work. Make segments, put these things together, these similar things, put them together. In this one, put them together. In this catalog, put them together. If, say, for example, all you know how to do is graphics design, you know, and graphics design is broken down into different parts, you know, and then if it's UI design, those are familiar with UI design, and now it's broken down. And if it's motion graphics, there's animation. Basically, it's broken. Everything is broken down. Now, if you're someone trying to play in the UI UX design field, for example, you're going to have a portfolio that has just UI work, hmm? That has UI design, that has app designs. Basically, if you're a UI designer, UI UX designer, your portfolio should be tailored to fit that category that you focus on. If you're a motion designer, same thing. If you're a graphics designer, same thing. But some graphics designers can get away with putting graphics design, UI design, and photography in one portfolio. If they can get greedy and include motion graphics, right? Someone like as myself, I do all of that, but I only like to put certain things in one portfolio and then I break down the rest, so that people will see the work that you're doing. Most of the time, when a prospective client comes to you or someone comes to you for a project, if you understand their requests or if you understand the kind of prospective client that they are or they are going to be, you will present to them the work that shows that thing that they are asking for, that request they're asking for best. If they're coming to talk to you about designing a flyer, for example, you want to put your flyer design first. Let them see that you can do other things, right? But you put the one that, like the saying goes, you put your best foot forward. You put your best work under that thing forward. And you have to know how to identify your best work. Not saying that all the work you do or you do bad work. I don't think there's anything as bad work. you know. But let me put it in football terms. Football players don't always sort of say shine every season. Some consistently do, um, um, and take seasons on. Some are on and off. Right? Doesn't make them bad footballers. They're just not having a season. Now, to bring that analogy that I just made back to what I'm saying is just because you have work that doesn't look good or you're not very confident about it doesn't mean it can't be in your portfolio. Right? As then as you grow, you develop, you learn new stuff, you see what things are trending, what design trends there are, you adapt, you evolve. You're always evolving. You can't because I don't think it's possible for anyone to learn one thing and just sit there. You always have to make sure that you're evolving. So be confident in whatever work that comes out of you. You know, especially creative people, everything comes from your head. Is you making something with your hands or your mind. So that's no bad work. Your all your work and make it into your portfolio. Now, I'm going to break on one segment. I'm going to take, you know, graphics design because I'm a graphics designer. So you people forgive me for not talking too much about the other fields, but I'm a graphics designer by training. I also know UI design and motion graphics and sometimes 3D. I don't like to say that I know web development because I don't know web development. But yeah, I'm a designer. And you know, when you identify your work, you like I said, make it into a document. And a portfolio, like I also mentioned earlier, is your book. You as a creative, that's your manual. That's your that's the manuscript that comes with your talent. It's like you handing out flyers of yourself to people and say, oh, look at my work. It's the same way artists display their work in galleries for people to see. So that's what your portfolio is. That's what you think of it as. Now, when you're presenting your work, you not only have to just put the work into that document, you have to design that document. You have to brand that document. You have to make that document and represent you. All right. The document has to carry your own branding, sort of like a representation. Say, um, I'm trying to think of a person who's a personal brand, but think of any brand, for example, a clothing brand, for example, if a clothing brand like Nike is presenting an outfit or shoe, you don't just take picture of the product and just, you know, they present it in a nice way. Either a very cool commercial, a very cool banner or poster or something, anything. It could even be a jingle, a song, an ad with footballers. Now, the ad and footballers or the jingle and all of that is not what they are showing us. They're showing us the product. They're using all those ads and all of that to show us the product. That's how you have to think of your branding and your portfolio. I'm going to use my portfolio as an example, and so we can, sort of go through it.
Okay, while we're waiting for you to share your screen, can you guys, if you've been learning something so far, can you unmute yourself and tell us, oh, this is what I've learned? Um, or you can drop it in the chat. Or if you're curious and maybe you already have a question, you can actually drop it in the chat. Or you can even just give an emoji. And it's for those that are just emoji people, you can drop emojis. Oh, this really been great. This really been helpful so far. I'd just like to hear our thoughts, like to hear our opinions. Okay, see an emojis. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I'm also in the chat looking to see if anybody has got anything. Okay, okay. Okay, nice. No. last point about branding and presenting our work well works well is an insight I've gotten. Okay, so presenting how you brand your work, how you present your stuff. Um, think even like he said, he talked about once you know what the client wants, you also know how to like tailor your portfolio for that client and how you present it in a way that okay, when they see it, they can say, oh, this guy knows what we want. So you can even know what to share with them. Not necessarily share them your whole portfolio. You can okay, say this is the certain one that would meet their need. All right. I think if you have anything, you can sit up it in the chat. But I think we can go. Can everyone see the screen? Oh, guys, can you hear me? Can everyone see the screen? If you can see the screen, drop an emoji or mute, say something so I can know that you can see the screen. Okay. Sending Mayor Kola Wale, are you guys with us? All these meetings, some people will join and then they might go and be doing other things. I want to be sure you guys are with us. Okay, thank you, Mary. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. All right, all right. I think we can move. We can move on. Yeah.
All right, guys. I want to confirm that everybody can hear me now and can see my screen. Awesome. So, as you can see, this is my portfolio. The document itself is branded. It carries my name in as stylish of a way that I think, I like. And then it carries what it is, a portfolio, it's a design portfolio. And now, like I said, um, for those who are versatile or who have multiple, um, how do I put it? I don't want to say disciplines, but who have multiple skill sets in design, you want to break your work into chapters, segments. Um, I would not say that making a profile of yourself is necessary, but remember that you are branding yourself. You're making a book of yourself, so people see you, see your work, they're able to put a face behind the work. Because most of the time, when people reach out to designers, they don't even know what they look like, right? Most clients don't know what their designers look like. Maybe unless they have their WhatsApp number, they can see their WhatsApp profile picture. Or, if they save their numbers and they can view their stories. But before all of that, you have present yourself in your book about yourself and your skill sets. You know, I don't think you should put too much thought into how it can be done or should be done. See, I took this picture with a phone camera and I made it black and white, stamped it here. I wrote a few things about myself, my experience. I don't know why I put my age there, but I put my age there. And the tools that I use, all of these applications that you see here are tools that I'm familiar with. Some I've been using for a long time. Excuse me. Some I've been using for as long as 10 years. There's one that I've used the longest. I've been using that one since I think I was 13. I have an older brother who's a designer also. But before that, he was a computer scientist. And every time he went to school and came back, I would always just, every opportunity I got to use his laptop, I would take it and I would use it to practice around drop. That's this one over here. Right now, there are more design softwares. There are a lot more design softwares compared to back then. And, they are easily accessible in the sense that you don't need to install anything. If you want to install something like Figma, you can, download it for less than, I think, 100 megabytes and have it installed as long as you have internet. Back then, we had to buy Photoshop, CorelDRAW, Illustrator, the heavy programs, InDesign, and install them on our laptop before we could even do anything. It was fun, but it was stressful, very stressful. We still made it work somehow. Now, like I said, you present yourself, you put write a bit about yourself. I think maybe I'll be at the end of this session. I'll share a link to my portfolio for everyone to have like a closer look at it because I'm not going to go through all of it right now. But yeah, first thing is logos. All of these are logos by training or by call. My best skill set is brand identity design, not just logo design. I like to create. I like to brand people, brand companies, give them a face. Like a brand identity is more than just a logo. So brand identity design as a whole, all these logos that you see here are brands out there that have designed the identities. Nonetheless, you can just sit down in front of your laptop, think of a brand, make up a brand, make a logo out of that brand, and display that on your portfolio. It doesn't have to be a project that was commissioned by anyone. It's just you doing stuff and showing it. So you can make up a brand. If you use ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT to give you you can ask ChatGPT to give you a branding assignment or a logo assignment. Get a brief. If you can make up stuff, you can ask AI to make a brief for you and you design work. And that's it. Don't think too much about it. What you don't want is to think that you have to have gain work before you can put it on your portfolio. No, anything can go into your portfolio. The first design that you made, put it in your portfolio. Okay, even if it's one design that you have, that's all you have. You've seen brochures. I'm sure we've seen brochures. Brochures are like 2 pages. They are tri-sheet brochures. They are 2-page brochures. So if all you have is front cover, the one work you've done, and back cover, that's fine. So yeah, these are all logos. Like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years, professionally for about 7 years now, and I've had a long time to make all of this. There's more, but I haven't put all of my work in my portfolio. I put my best foot forward. I put my best work here. And then that is for logo design. We're moving to another segment, which is print design. Most of these are poster designs and they're made to print. And they're all here. They're all in one segment. And then one thing that I do is sort of give maybe a brief description of your work. You are not just showing, you're also telling. So you are showing people your work, and maybe you write something, a brief thing. Right? Me, in this case, I just wrote what that product was, the company that was done for, and the year that it was done. It doesn't have to be too much. If you're a UI designer, for example, that you make a software, you get a brief for a software, a product, and you make it. You want to write, a breakdown of how you arrived at that. This is the brief, but this is the problem, and this is your solution. You talk about your solution briefly, and you present your solution on the side. That's where your UI screen is coming. It's the same thing as any type of work. You are showing and you're telling. Because if you were there, for example, with the person, say it's a work that you hang on the wall. An artist, for example, in a gallery, they don't often stand around to speak to people, but when they are, they tell. And oftentimes, before they start the exhibition, the show of their work, they maybe give a brief, welcoming speech or summary. Right? That's how it works. So you show and you tell. All of these are print designs that are done over the years, different mediums. There are billboards, there are posters, there are all sorts of things. That's one segment, and this is UI design. Same thing. Same thing. All these are the kind of work that I've done. So sorry about that. I didn't realize how long my portfolio was. Um, yes, so I'm trying to get to the end. Yes, fantastic. Now these are banners, the social media banners, right? If you, for example, want to gain the attention of someone or something that needs social media banner designs, that's the most. I think that's the most sought after work. Not a lot of people request for documents, right? Companies don't always need documents. So if you do find yourself working in a company, in a corporation, you have to design documents, not posters now. I'm talking about documents. And now, in designing those documents, the skill that you have in presenting your work, designing the document and present your work will come in handy. That's why you should know how to design documents, not just social media designs. And now these social media designs, when you design them and they look really fine, you put them together, display it nicely for people to see, or your prospective clients or hiring manager officer to see. And they can see that, oh, this guy, we're calling him for social media, or this girl, they're calling her for social media, you know, she has sent a portfolio, right? You can send that. If you have a lot of work like myself, you can then afford to put all of these together, right? I have a separate portfolio for UI design, but I'm not really a UI designer per se. I know UI design, but that's not my niche. But I do have a separate portfolio for UI design, even though I've added UI design to this portfolio. This is just to show, you know, my skill set. And then under that skill set is the evidence, right? No need to explain. The skill set is right there and there's evidence. It's as simple as that. Now that makes me go back to the point where I said that your portfolio is your personal book. So you should not be modest in any way. You should put your best work forward and show it nice. Like I said, I'm going to share a link to this portfolio. Not so that you go and copy my portfolio. Don't copy. You don't. What makes you? What makes you a good? Well, not good. What makes you a great creative is your ability to take something that you see, anything that you see, and get creative with it. Maybe think of a way to make it look better. For every way that we've evolved as human beings, in technology, in science, in art, it has always been someone doing something and another person saying, how can I make this thing better? That's how we invented everything that we have right now. Before we started using cars, we're using cats and horses. Someone said, how can you make that better? And now we have electric cars. So when you see people's work that you admire, that you want to take a few points from, there's nothing wrong with that. But don't copy people's work. That's plagiarism, right? But there's nothing wrong with drawing inspiration. Everything still has to come from here and here. You know, that's your work. It's you showing your skill. So there are, different ways we can draw inspiration. We can draw inspiration from the internet, from Google. The internet is broken, the internet has websites that you can draw inspiration from. If you're looking to design a portfolio and you want to see what a portfolio looks like, you can just search da 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 portfolio examples and you get portfolio examples. But if you're someone who doesn't, and easily get overwhelmed, there are sites that you can check. I will give some of those websites that you can just go to and check for inspiration on, portfolio options, how you can present yourself, the design styles. When you look at how people have presented themselves in their portfolio, whether it's a photographer, a designer, a writer, a motion graphic guy, or a 3D guy, or what else? What else? It's a web developer. Right? Web developers have portfolios. They have screenshots or UI screens of their projects, and they have links to codes of them. And they also, make their own like UI designs if it's products that they can easily access. So whatever you do, you can make a portfolio out of it. Like I said, even if you do bead making, put it inside there. In my early years as a designer, I had photography in that portfolio. I had a an older portfolio where there was photography, and one of the photographs was a picture of this. I used to know how to. I don't know if I still can, but I used to know how to make action figures with copper wire. They were my top. I'll make a human toy shape, wrap it with masking tape, that's paper tape, and color it. I took a picture of that and put it in my portfolio. That's something that I did when I was, really young. But I just felt it deserves to be in my portfolio, and I did. But now I don't have it there because there's so much design work. So the point I'm trying to drive is don't be embarrassed about any work that you do. Don't think it's too small. Don't think it's not enough to be in your portfolio. Mm-mm. You're showing yourself. You're showing what you can do. So put it there. Put it in your portfolio. Make a portfolio. Now, you know, before you start thinking about even designing a portfolio, there are websites that you can upload your work to that will serve as a portfolio. You upload your work to those websites in whatever order you please. You don't have to worry about alignments and order and style. There are um, there are a couple ones, but there's two that I've always used that I they're quite popular. So a lot of people are familiar with them. One of them is Behance. This is my Behance portfolio. I'm going to share that now. Give me a second. Okay. Please let me know if you can see my screen or if the screen has changed. Yeah. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen, guys.
Now I can see your screen. Wow. Wait,
Okay, okay.
this DHL logo you designed
Alright, so
that?
this is my Behance portfolio. Oh no,
Okay.
no, I did not.
Yeah.
Um, so how Behance is constructed is, like I said, we'll get to that. So how Behance is made is you put a picture of your work or a video, and then it already gives you a cover. In that place, you can either put a cover that you made, or you can put the same work that you just uploaded as your cover, right? In my case, I always make covers for my designs. Um, Now, before I even had enough work to make a portfolio out of, I remember this is as far back as 2015. I would just take the program that I like to use the most is CorelDRAW. I'll just take CorelDRAW and make a compilation of all the logos that I designed. No writing, no nothing. There was nothing to it. And I can't remember what year. Okay, yeah, 2015. There was nothing to it. It's just even a logo that I designed of myself. I put it there. You know, there's nothing to racking your head and wondering what work should be in your portfolio. It's your work. You put it there. As you go on, as you grow on, you grow, you evolve, you do more work, you replace the ones that um, you showcase. All these old ones I still live here because it's Behance. This Behance is like Facebook for your designs. You just put your stuff out there. It can be there for years. Um, yeah, when I mentioned photography, this is a picture of my cousin, I think, I took. So these are pictures I took of my cousin, right? And I'm a designer, so it doesn't really matter if I'm a visual designer and all of these things that I'm displaying are for your eyes, they're visual. So I'm putting all of them out there. See it. If I'm a singer, everything that has to do with music, I'll put it out there. I'll put songs, I'll put songs that I've written, verses that I've written, if it's poem, if it's poetry, I'll put on my poems, right? Even writers have portfolios. This, for example, this was a this was a promo that was supposed to run for Right Foods. I'm sure some of us are familiar with this big drink. Although it didn't go through, or there wasn't approved, rather, it was supposed to be a campaign. It didn't go through. A writer wrote all of this, you know, coming up with that campaign, coming up with anything that requires writing requires a writer. So you as a writer, you take the pictures of the thing that you've written, put it in your portfolio, and then maybe give like a brief, you're a writer now, give a brief summary of what you've just done or what has led to that thing that was done. A designer doesn't necessarily have to do all of that. Right? You can just slam the word and write this work I did for so person this time. Or that's how a writer would present their portfolio. Anything that they write. If it's a song, you put the word song there too. So as a designer, you put your work together. I'm going to open the one that like I just mentioned, the DHL one. So this is the motion graphic actually that I did for DHL Africa eShop. I did some work for them, I think in 2019 before COVID. And I was put on the team to make some, designs, motion, graphics, UIs and terms, and all of that. So I'm going to share links to my Behance portfolio so we can take our time and go through, some of these things ourselves. And this is social media. Like I said, what is most demanded thing now is social media design. Because everybody's online, everybody has social media. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok now. And people still use Facebook. They require social media banners to be designed. So social media banners have been designed by me many times. And I'm sure maybe a few of us here have experience designing social media banners for different brands, different companies. One thing about social media branding is you have to be able to be versatile. You are taking companies, you're taking brands, and you are creating communication material for people to see. So you have to understand that brand or that company or that product yourself. You take your time to understand what this product or this company is about or services they're trying to put out. And then you will not communicate that in your own creative manner, right? Of course, you will have the support of a writer, right? The writer will provide most of the copy. The copy is the written words on most all of these communication materials. And a writer too that writes all of this can have those social media banners in their portfolio. That, oh, look at this! I wrote this copy, right? And that's good work for both a writer and a designer. Sometimes it might be a writer and a I wouldn't say a singer, but the people who make jingles, there are things called jingles. They're like songs. Say for example, if you listen to a radio ad and you hear one music, maybe Organa Patito, something like that. It's called a jingle, and it was written by someone, a writer. So you as a writer, you take your jingle and maybe you put a link to your jingle in your portfolio so people can click it and listen. You write that jingle. That's you showing your work. And now all of these are social media banners again. Like I said, I'll share the links. I've been blessed enough to be able to practice design in different mediums or make different kinds of designs. I never turned down a design challenge. I always think as every brief as a challenge that I will take on. And last year, I was challenged to design an ebook. An ebook is, think of it as a PDF of a material, maybe a PDF book or document, but in ebook manner. So there's a process to making that. I hadn't done it before. I did it for the first time, and it was pretty cool. So when someone asks about doing an ebook, I've done an ebook. I put it out there. You know, I've worked in companies that require documents also. So I've made things like brochures, um, letter-headed documents, and all of that. All that corporate needs. This is the link. They'll give you a link, behance.net and slash my username. That's your link. You can just share that link with anyone, and they'll have access to your portfolio. And there's another platform too, just like Behance. One thing you want to do with Behance is play around, see what all of these buttons say. What can you do? There are settings that you can change, you can undo. All of these things. It's always good to explore, to play around, to know what these things can do and how you can make it better. There's another called Dribble. It's spelled with a triple B. There's another place where you can upload your work. This is my Dribble profile. These are some of the work that I've done. I think back in the earlier day, I could draw. I don't do a lot of drawing these days, but I've done a few drawings, digital drawings, and some of them are here on Behance, on Dribble rather. So you have two things that you can use to show your work now without having to do any actual design of the document. There's Dribble, there's Behance. You can use anyone you want. You can use both because these programs have communities. These websites, they have communities of people. So there's nothing wrong with being part of the Dribble community and being part of the Behance community. So check them out. I will share links to these websites. Give me a moment while I switch. Okay, thumbs up if you can see my screen. Awesome. This is Dribble. This is what Dribble looks like. This is my Dribble portfolio profile. The same thing, upload your work. Just take, if it's a logo you design, put it in the background, and upload it here. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That's how they say it, Abby. This is what the Dribble home looks like. If you are ever looking for inspiration to design, say you want to design a logo for a dog food product, you can come to dribble.com. This is the home page. It has all kinds of designs, from UI design to graphic design to logo design to motion design, all kinds of designers with different disciplines. Excuse me. You need inspiration, you can just dog food logo. Type that in the search bar. And then you get ideas on, things that you can do. Right? If you can draw, if you can sketch. I'm talking to people who, know logo design. You can sketch, you can sketch something by looking at examples of things that are related to what you're trying to work on. Right? You can copy the images, put them in your design software, and make your own thing. Like I said, don't copy people's work. The reason why people put their work out there is so that other people can get inspired to do better work, not so that they can copy it. That's plagiarism. That's a crime that's punishable under law and punishable under the designer's guide. They will not rate you for copying people's work. So yeah, Dribble has inspiration, same as Behance. These things aren't only for just uploading your work. As you are uploading your own work, Other people are uploading their own work. So let's see one of the examples. One of the things I worked on. Most recent thing I worked on was a website for a meal supplement. And then I just came here and I found inspiration for, that subject, the things that people have done, and I can just get examples from. I think this is right. Let's do this again. Let's search for App Store screens, for example. Now, these show all kinds of screens because that's what I searched for, you know. At the same time, you have to be specific with what you're looking for. When I typed in App Store screens, it just brought up random um, App Store screens out. If I'm looking for something, for example, say fitness App Store, it will bring fitness apps. What a fitness app looks like, a fitness product, not just the product itself, how you brand that product, what the logo of the product looks like, how you can now present your work to people. Behance gives you that. If you need a document style to present your work, you come here, you see some of that because people are presenting their work. They break down the colors they chose. For instance, this is brand identity design, for example. You know, you're not just designing a logo, you're making a brand. So you're going to apply that brand in different mediums. Or you're going to show us how that brand identity can be applied in different mediums. That's the identity that you are creating for that brand. So you are showing that in your portfolio. Now that's a document for one product. It could be, you could have a document that shows 2, 3, 4. You can have a document that shows 1. If that's all you have, why not? Put it out there. You can also put it online. Oh wow. Guys, I've been showing Behance and I didn't change my screen to Behance. Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
I've been looking at.
Yeah, I was
My
wondering when you're saying
apologies.
what
I didn't check.
means. Yeah.
So yes, this is Behance. Fitness App Store screens. And this is what it looks like. It's the home of Behance. My apologies, guys.
Sorry about that now.
I was just telling, I wasn't showing you. So you go to Behance.net, I'm going to write that. Behance.net, you search for what you want, you get inspired by all of this work here that people have put out, other creatives have put out. You can like the way this person displayed their logo now. Do your own. Take it. All right. You can take it, you can use it. You can use this as a template to compose your own image, right? And remove all of that. But don't, maybe a designer, you don't take this and just copy, change one thing, period. And say that you're done logo design. That's still its own work. So that is it for displaying your portfolio. And now I'm going to move to sort of softwares that we can use to display these portfolios or design these portfolios. We don't have a lot of time. I'm just going to go through them quickly. The first one that I'm sure that we're mostly familiar with is Figma. I'm sure everyone has heard of Figma. Okay, I'm sure everyone has heard of Figma. Thumbs up if you can see my screen again.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
Also,
something in Infinity Mirror and all.
this is what Figma looks like. This is what my Figma sort of lobby looks like. These are things that I worked on my own Figma
Okay, your
application.
Figma,
I've
your
installed it on my
Figma.
computer, but
I'm
you don't
sorry,
necessarily
can
have
you?
to install Figma. My
Hello,
Figma
Yemi,
is
can
what?
you hear me? Yeah, your screen is
Yeah, I
showing
can hear you.
uh, a mirror image. It's not showing Figma.
I can hear you. I can.
Yeah, I see your screen is showing a mirror image. It's not showing Figma.
Oh, how about now?
Okay, it's not yet loaded. It's still like loading. So
How
yeah.
about now?
Okay, just hold on. It's still
Are you?
loading.
Can you?
Okay,
Oh,
so this. Okay, yes. Okay, yeah, it's good now.
okay. I'm just going to show Figma for web. Maybe that is taking a while. All right, guys. So this is Figma for web. Just go to figma.com. Um, and then you log in or you sign up. You don't have an account. You do have an account. You log in. You do have an account. I assume that you know how to use Figma or you're familiar with Figma. You can use it online on your um, browser tab. You can also download it so you can use it. You can't use it offline. But the reason why it's best to download the app itself is so that your work will not be um, your work will not be disturbed by the use of the browser. You're using the browser to do other things on the internet. You don't want if you have a slow internet, you don't want that to disrupt your internet. So you have the offline one and the online one. The offline one it updates anytime there's internet, right? So when you do something, it's there. But once there's internet, it syncs. If you're doing it online, it does the same thing though. Although you stand the risk that maybe if you have bad internet, losing something. And it's not you won't usually need a lot of things. Maybe something you done, maybe you just drew a box or a square, and then the internet started acting up at that time. When you reload that screen, your square might not be there. So that's the benefit of using the offline one. Um, if you don't have any experience with Figma, you can go to YouTube and search for tips, tricks, and how to use Figma, how to go about Figma. All of these tools are just tools to help you. And Figma has templates already, all kinds of templates for decks, for social media. They're all there. The Figma has a community itself. You can search the community for things that you want, and they will already give you a pre-made template that you can use, you can alter, you can edit, right? And that just makes work easy for everyone, for you especially. Same thing as Canva. Canva is another online software that I assume that some of us, if not most of us, or all of us, are familiar with because you know it's everywhere. So there's Canva. I don't use Canva. Um, I don't even use Figma as much because I use the other programs. I use the Adobe Suite and Corel. Although all these things can do the same thing, well, not all of it, but those are traditional design programs. I think Figma is getting there, but these programs are traditional. They're like the core design programs. And for things like motion graphics, you can do a little bit of video, creation or motion graphics on Canva. Canva also has templates. But for me, if I want to ever make a motion graphic, I always use After Effects. And then you can come here to Figma. You can't display your work on Figma, but it's just like on Canva rather. You can't display your work on Figma either. but you can use them as tools to design your work, present your work. Figma, Canva, if you don't have any experience with either of these programs, you just go to YouTube. It's easy. Search for how to use maybe like a quick breakdown. You watch one video, you practice what you watch. You watch another video. So you keep searching for videos like that, like that, like that. You know, there's no pressure. Search for videos, improve your skill. If you have a lot of time on your hands, do that. If you don't have a lot of time, you can maybe make a schedule. Just check when you're free. You can learn any, well, not any, but most software, design software on the internet these days. So go to Canva, go to Figma, present your work. And another website that you can check for inspiration is Pinterest. That will be the last one. Like I said, there are other ones, but these are the ones that I prefer to use. You will not want to cloud your sort of knowledge. You just want to have the ones that you can trust and rely on. You go to Pinterest, you can just search for portfolio. You see all kinds of things. If you want to make a portfolio website, if you want to make a portfolio document, anything that you want, you can find inspiration on Pinterest. So for Pinterest, Dribble, and Behance, you can find inspiration. And for designing these things itself, you use Canva or Figma. I guess that covers it. I think now it's time to take questions.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Yemi. Can I see some emojis? Let's appreciate stuff for this wonderful session. And can I see some emojis? If you've gotten something, can I see some emojis? All right. Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask. If you have questions, maybe you're in a different light. Like he said, he's a designer, so he like tailored it mostly to designers, but he also still gave like tips for those that are not designers, like the writers, the video creators, and all. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. Mary Adeleke. Okay, what's my name? So you can mute yourself. Ask your question. If you can turn on your video, that would be great. If not, that's cool.
Okay, so good evening, Yami. I'm quite in a dark place, like you can't see my face per se. So, thank you very much for your session. Yes, I mean it's very nice to meet an OG designer. Like, yeah. So, the question that I have is, you're majoring on brand design. Like, I'm focusing more on UI UX, and the question that I have, right, is, do I have something that looks somewhat like a portfolio on Notion? So, I don't know if you have any suggestion that you can give to like perhaps a junior designer on how best to make. So you already said everything about explaining the story better. Like, I just want to ask because I've been using the portfolio stuff that I built on Notion to apply for like internship roles, and I haven't gotten like so many favorable responses. And I'm guessing perhaps it's the platform that I'm hosting it on. So I've been learning a couple of no code website development tools so I could like build one. So I don't know, do you have like any suggestion like on how best this junior designer can actually put her work like out there?
Yeah, I know what's in lane. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, Notion is good, but not a lot of people have knowledge of Notion, or rather, let me put it this way: not a lot of people understand how Notion works. Most of these design platforms where you can show a designer usually straight to the point. You can just click and look. But Notion might be sort of complicated for some people. But if you want a no code tool that you can use, a software called Framer. There's Webflow, or I'm not very familiar with Webflow, but I'm familiar with Framer, and I've used Framer. It's a no code software. So you can um, take your designs from Figma or wherever. If you use, there's this program called XD. I don't know if anyone uses XD, Adobe XD or Sketch. There are plugins that will take your designs and just place them in Framework. But I wouldn't advise to do that because it just copies and pastes it. You take your designs, paste it, and sort of recreate it in Framer. It's like you're coding your product, you're coding your software, but you're not typing any code. You are just designing your code like you're designing on Figma or any design software. But there are tools to make sure that your designs work how they're supposed to. That's that's what I would say. Um, no code software that you can use. Oh yeah, that's always a problem. Most of these programs are paid for. They don't get Framer is expensive. It's paid for rather. Um, um, XD, I'm not sure if it's paid, but okay, yeah. Adobe Suite is paid, so you have to pay for XD. Figma is a design software, right? So I would say that if you want to use a no-code software, because there are not many options and not a lot there, you can um, make the sacrifice. I guess if you can afford it though, right? You can just pay for a time, use it, practice, give it a break. Think of it in school. Think of it as you paying for handout. If it's 1 month that you can use it. If you need something, and you can afford to do it. So, what's me? I hope I was able to answer your question.
Hi, Timmy. Can you
That's
hear
me.
us?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much, Jamie. That answered my question.
Fantastic. You're welcome.
Yeah, not to advocate for hacks, not to advocate for hacks, but just like you said, in those days, if you go to like all this computer village, they have like those days now in quotes, they have like CDs like where they can install some of the softwares for you, like for a price that is discounted compared to actually paying for it. um, and yeah, so you can actually explore that option to go into like all these computer village and telling them okay, you want to install like Google Suits, and it can help you install it for a discounted price. Not advocating for hack, but yeah, you just gotta use what you have. Okay, so any other question, any other question, any maybe something you learned? Okay, Mary, you can go.
Good evening, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, Mary, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Yemi. Your session is really educative. Like, I've learned a lot. I actually got what I was expecting. So, before now, I I have kind of gotten the idea that putting out your portfolio is like putting out your portfolio, having a website as your portfolio is really good because that's what people are really advocating for these days. Since social media is actually good, but there are the use of social media, like where kind of situation that could happen to you. Your account getting banned and all that. So websites seem to be more like a kind of things that could last. So I know that websites are actually paid for because to have a website, you actually need to have money to pay for maybe main hosting name. So my question is, it's kind of two in one. So the first one is, why did you not actually go for having a website, as your portfolio? And for someone who actually wants to explore that idea of having a website, can you give some tips or, foresights regarding that to be able to navigate that idea?
Okay. Hello, Mary. To answer your question, I think it's a thing of preference, yeah? If you would prefer to have a website to show your work, then why not? I haven't said that I was going to make a website maybe sometime in the future. But you take this for example, there's a Google Drive, and all I have to do is design the work or make the document, upload it to a Google Drive, and share that link to everyone. It opens as a document on a Google Drive, and that could also serve as a website because in documents you can hyperlink things. If you want a situation where you hyperlink a certain shape in your PDF, for example, you can do that on any program. If someone clicks it, it takes them to another page where you've uploaded something, maybe another drive
What's
with
your
a link. They
essence?
can see another thing there. So it's a preference thing. If
Actually,
you can afford to, websites are not free. Websites are expensive to a sense because you pay for domain name and then if you are a developer, you can just code your website. But sometimes you require a designer to design for you, which you can just put together templates and just write your code, and that's good. But instead of going the route of designing a website, you can use Google Drive or any drive. It could be Dropbox, it could be Google Drive, it could be whatever. As long as you can just share a link to that document in G Drive, you're good. It might as well serve as your website. But websites are fantastic. But if you can afford to have your own website, why not? If you can't afford it, or if you don't want to, you can use any of these other options that you have online. You can use Drive, you can use Behance, you can use um, Dribble, because all of these things are links. When people ask to see your work, and just share them a link. If you share them a link to your Behance profile, it will open your Behance profile for your work. It's like sharing someone a link to your Instagram. When it opens your Instagram page, it shows all your pictures. Same thing with Behance and Dribble. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, Mary.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
okay, yeah. Also to add to that, so the whole purpose of this workshop was actually to show you how easy it is to actually create a create a portfolio from scratch. And the goal is you don't, a website, you're thinking about a lot of things. You're thinking about hosting, you're thinking about buying domain name, and all that can make you like you start procrastinating. It's like, okay, when I get this amount of money, when I get this, when I get that. But this just makes it so much easier. Okay, you have a template, you say, oh, I want to use Canva, I have a template, I use this template, I just put my work, then I can upload it. Sorry, someone is saying my network. Can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but there's some cracking going on.
Ah, network here is just so bad. So what I was saying was, the goal of this workshop was just basically to make you see how easy it is to create a portfolio from scratch. If you can afford to go for a website, that's good and fine. But the goal is so that you can get something up from the ground very quickly. And just like Yemi said, the goal is to like as you go further in your journey, whether in design, in writing, in video editing, you can now start having preference that, okay, let me show this work for this client, let me show this work. At first it's you show all your work because you don't have so much experience, so you're just putting everything out there. But as you go on now, you can now begin to like tag and categorize your work, okay, based on this client's preference. And then you also want to tell a story. You have to give context to whatever you're showing them. That's why when you are designing. So whatever you're doing, whether it's website, whether it's normal portfolio, whether it's Google Drive, you always want to give context so that they can know, oh, this was how this work came about. This was the thinking behind this work, because that's what they're also looking at. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. Does any other person have a question? Any other question? I want to ask. Okay, Mary. Okay, Mary, you can talk, Mary.
You can go ahead and ask your question before I ask mine though.
Just ask yours because mine is a bit more technical, maybe.
Okay. This question I have is not really related to portfolio building, but is actually a very important aspect that possibly many people are not aware of and have no idea of. So, Mr. Yemi, please permit me to pick your brain on this topic. So, aside, you know, having a portfolio that displays your work, being a professional after you have years of experiences, working experience, some people actually become aware that they need to have some legal backing, as a professional. Because, okay, let me be very real now. So, for example, you have shown works of great companies like Right Foods and Fearless. And so I'm sure that there definitely had to be some agreement that was made, whether on paper or even it's in digital form, before you could even display those works. Though I know you own them, but there are some companies that